All right, future IT auditors, welcome. Today we're diving into something you're going to see everywhere out in the field: EDI, or Electronic Data Interchange. Think of it as a business world with almost no paper trail. So, how in the world do you audit that? Well, by the end of this, you'll have the framework to do it with total confidence. Okay, so what exactly is EDI? Put simply, it's about computers talking directly to other computers. No more people printing out purchase orders, stuffing them in envelopes, or faxing invoices. It's a direct, standardized, automated conversation between business systems. Super, super efficient. And the benefits? They are huge. I mean, just look at these numbers. Costs get slashed by 35%. Errors? Those pesky manual keying mistakes? They plummet by 40%. And the whole business cycle? It gets faster by more than 60%. It is no wonder companies have built their entire supply chains on this technology. But, and this is a big but for us as auditors, there's a flip side. All that speed and automation means when something goes wrong, it goes wrong fast and at a massive scale. We're not talking about one bad invoice here. We're talking about a single glitch messing up, get this, nearly 60% of B2B transactions. Whoa. That efficiency suddenly becomes a huge liability. So that brings us to the big question, right? You walk into a company and you're faced with this high-speed, high-risk black box. What's your first move? This is really the heart of the matter. We've shifted our trust from people, from Bob in accounting double-checking a paper invoice, to automated controls built right into the software. Your job has fundamentally changed. You're not auditing paper anymore. You're auditing the system's logic. Okay, to break this all down, here's our game plan. We'll start with the two sides of EDI, then build our audit from the ground up, starting with the foundation, the GITCs. Then we'll move into the process itself with ITACs, figure out what a digital receipt even looks like, and finally, talk about how to audit all of this at scale. All right, let's get into it. First things first, you can't trust the transactions if you can't trust the system they live in. Think of it like a bank. You wouldn't start by counting the cash in one teller's drawer. No way. You'd first check if the vault is secure, if the alarms work, and if only the right people have the keys. That is exactly what General IT Controls, or GITCs, are all about. So GITs are the controls over the entire EDI infrastructure. This covers three big areas. First, access management. Who can get into the system? Who has the keys? Second, change management. How are updates and changes to the system controlled? And third, security protocols. Is the data safe when it's traveling between companies? These are the walls, the guards, and the security procedures of our fortress. They are the bedrock of everything. Now, let's focus on change management for a second because it is so important. Inside an EDI system, there's this critical file called a translation map. It's basically the Rosetta Stone that translates your partner's document format into yours. If someone makes one wrong, unauthorized change to that map, which is a GITC failure, it could instantly corrupt thousands, maybe millions of dollars in transactions. That's why this rigid four-step process is non-negotiable. Request, test, approve, deploy. It has to be airtight. Okay, so our fortress is secure. The GITs are solid. Now, and only now, can we look at what's happening inside those walls. We're zooming in on the individual transactions. And this is where IT application controls, or ITACs, come into play. Think of ITACs as the automated toll booths for every single transaction. They're built right into the software. As a transaction comes in, that's the input stage, the ITAC checks its credentials. Is the data valid? During the processing stage, it makes sure the transaction follows all the business rules, like checking for duplicate invoice numbers. And at the output stage, it ensures the final, correct result is sent out. They're the little gatekeepers at every single step. And this right here, this is the absolute key concept you need to remember. Look at this table. The ITAC is the logic inside that translation map we talked about. But the GITC is the process that controls who can change the map. You see the link? If your GITC is weak, if anyone can just go in and mess with that map, then who cares how great your ITAC is? It's completely worthless. The logic is only as good as the security protecting it. This is why you always audit the fortress before you audit the process. Okay, so we have a secure system and we have controls checking every transaction. But how do we actually prove a transaction happened? In the old days, you had a signed piece of paper. In the digital world, what's our proof? This is a huge deal for us as auditors. Well, the official term for this is non-repudiation. It's a fancy way of saying that once a transaction happens, neither the sender nor the receiver can deny it. It's like a digital handshake that's legally binding. And the way we get this proof is through a special kind of automated message called a functional acknowledgement, which acts as our official digital receipt. Now, as an auditor, you have to know that not all digital receipts are created equal. This is critical. You've got the EDI 997, which basically says, yep, I got your file. It's like acknowledging you received a sealed envelope. It confirms completeness, but that's it. Then you have the EDI 999. This one is way more powerful. The 999 says, I got your envelope, I opened it, I read the contents, and everything matches our business rules. It confirms both completeness and accuracy. Your job is to make sure the company isn't just getting the envelope received message when they really need the contents verified one. Okay, so we know what to test. But how? We're talking about systems that process millions of transactions a day. Traditional audit sampling, picking 30 or 60 invoices to look at, is like trying to inspect an entire highway by just looking at 3 cars. You're going to miss everything important. It's just not going to cut it. And the regulators are very clear about this. The PCAOB basically says, when there's no paper, the electronic evidence is everything. It's not just part of the audit trail, it is the audit trail. So your ability to actually dig into that digital evidence isn't just a nice skill to have, it is the core of your job. So this is where you get your superpowers as an IT auditor. We use tools called Generalized Audit Software, or GAS. Instead of just sampling, you can analyze 100% of the transactions, the entire population. With these tools, you can write a simple query to find every single outbound invoice that's missing that crucial 997 or 999. You can spot every duplicate identifier. You can find any transaction that's way over a certain dollar amount. You're not looking for a needle in a haystack. You're just dumping out the hay and picking up all the needles. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. This is your new mantra for IT audit. Test the fortress, your GITCs, before you ever rely on the process happening inside, the ITACs. Always, no exceptions. And that really brings us to the fundamental question you'll have to answer throughout your entire career. Are you just going to be someone who counts transactions inside a system you don't really understand? Or are you going to be the auditor who first makes absolutely sure the fortress itself is secure? Answering that question correctly, well, that's the difference between just checking boxes and being a true assurance professional. And that is the mindset that's going to make you invaluable.